Okay, so we're recording. I'm glad we're finally doing this. But like I the thing like I wish that we had a better topic to talk about for episode 1 because like it's this big thing, but I guess we got to talk about Jacob Blake.
Yeah. Oh man, I hate it.
Uh, I mean, you just want to go because I mean, I can't even imagine what's been going through your head these past few days.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. Let's just jump into it. Like
Yeah,
it's uh there's so much. Oh my God. I don't even know how to like start this conversation.
yeah,
Okay. Like it's stupid. It's so stupid that this has to keep happening. And then it's just mind-blowing that it's mind-blowing that nothing is being done about it. It's mind-blowing that it's happening in the first place, right? That the police are getting away with killing black men or black people in general. Let's remember Sandra Bland and Breonna Taylor. But it's mind-blowing that like there isn't institutional reparations or that like these officers aren't arrested immediately, or that like
yeah,
there aren't laws passed to prevent this from ever happening again, or that this murder that's happening unjustly just can happen. Like it's upsetting and it's stupid and I hate it very much. that's
yeah,
that's all I can say about that.
yeah. Like it's really weird because like this doesn't feel like something that people should just forget about in a week. But
No.
like, because when I remember uh, when Ferguson happened, I was like a freshman in college, and I remember like seeing like everybody like saying Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter because that was like sort of when it started. Um, and I was honestly like so confused by it because like I grew up in Brazil where like unarmed black teen shot by white cop, like that's basically Tuesday.
Wow.
Like it happens a lot. Like um if I'm not mistaken, like a third of homicides in Brazil are committed by police.
Wow.
Yeah. It's insane. So like Brazil is also like it's such a violent country that like whenever like a black teen is shot by a white cop, like it doesn't even make the news because like it's so normalized. And like the thing that still blows my mind that like people just got used to is that like in Brazil there's literally an app that Brazilians have that shows you if there's like a shooting going on near where you are so that you can plan your morning commute.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like I remember just thinking like why are so many people freaking out about this? Like doesn't this happen all the time?
Oh.
And like I lived in the US for like 6 years, so like I sort of gradually got more sensitized to it. And like I remember like after George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and like Breonna Taylor especially, I was like, what are we doing as a society? You know, it just doesn't make sense that, like, not just that so many people still have like so much hate inside of them
Mm.
that they would be willing to just shoot people and murder people. And I mean, in the case of Jacob Blake, like, I mean, he got shot in front of his 3 kids.
Just
Like,
get into the car. Yeah, yes.
it's
And in fact,
insane. Like, his 3 kids are like I think the oldest of them was like 8 years old.
mm,
Like, I mean, we gotta do something. And like, nothing gets done, and this just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog's Day, you know?
yeah, the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, it's just insane. And like, cause we keep acting like we don't have the answers to these things. And like, we really do. It's just that nobody wants to actually implement what we all know the solutions would be, because like we live in like this corporate owned country that, like, basically there was this Princeton study that showed that basically the government doesn't care what you think. And
Interesting.
yeah, like I can send this to you later, but like basically they took, and when I was running for office, like I was talking about this all the time. Like they took like 20 years of data, and they plotted like this graph that was basically like on the x-axis it was like they plotted like the popularity of certain issues, and on the y-axis they plotted the likelihood that those issues would get implemented.
Based off of what?
Like the the popularity was based on like opinion polls and like stuff like that, and the likelihood, like I don't know the exact methodology, but like it was basically they found that if an issue has 0% support, right, like literally no one supports it, it has a 30% chance of becoming law.
Interesting.
And if you have an incredibly popular issue that has like 100% support, let's say, it still only has 30% chance of becoming law.
Wow. So it's a 30% chance either way it goes.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I like going back to Jacob Blake and like race relations, and it's really interesting because the main thing that like people talk about when they talk about criminal justice is like we gotta legalize weed, you know? And because like it is a racial justice issue, if you
Without a
think about
doubt.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, without a
like,
doubt. What?
and there was this poll that it was like I think 2/3 of Americans want to fully legalize weed, but it never happens. And there was like Black Lives Matter had like I think like a 65% approval rating like a month ago or something. And they have like all of their demands that they're asking for, like stopping broken windows policing and like demilitarizing the police, then it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
So like we just keep like playing the same movie over and over and over again, and nothing ever happens, and it's so messed up. And like part of the reason why I wanted this to be our first episode is that like I don't know what it's like to be Black in America. You do.
Yeah. Every day.
Like, I mean, I feel that a lot of people don't really listen to like Black people and Black women especially when it comes to like criminal justice and race relations, and like those are the people that we should be listening to the most, you know?
Yeah, because it impacts us the most.
Yeah.
We are the most victimized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
what's it been like for you? Because I feel like I've been going on forever.
Oh, you're cool, man. I want to actually go back to when you said when you first started, like your freshman year,
Yeah.
the Ferguson. That's when I was first introduced to like police brutality and introduced
Yeah.
to Black Lives Matter. And I've been Black my whole life. Like I wasn't in Brazil. Like this is something I've like been, but I've
Yeah.
never knew about uh I guess the brutality on Black people. And I grew up, I guess it's because I grew up in like a very small town and it's already diversified. Not that not that trauma doesn't occur in diverse
Yeah.
communities or there's not injustices, but I've never been experienced like blatant racism or being attacked or just because of my skin color. And
Mm-hmm.
so when Trayvon Martin happened and then Mike Brown happened and Ferguson happened and just all of these like crazy things happened my freshman year of college, it really opened my eyes. And then
Yeah.
I went to Vassar, and so it was a very I guess I don't want to say political, but a politically awoken school.
I mean, I was there. It's pretty woke.
Okay. Yeah. So it was very woke, and it was just really crazy because like it felt very polarized when those events happened. Like
Yeah.
we came together as a community, but then after that, like one come together, it was just like you're either Black or you're not Black, and I was like, it was just very hard to like find a middle ground where I just wasn't angry all the time. And plus,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a very like eye-opening experience collectively, like being a part of a collective group of people. But it was eye-opening for myself too, because like I said, I had never experienced um, this fear before. That's really what it was. Like I was afraid for my life every day, and that's not something that I've had to live with. And since then, I've kind of lived with that fear, not at the forefront of my mind, but it's been there, and it's difficult. It's difficult because I don't know, like, is today going to be my last day on earth because I'm a Black woman? Like, simply for that reason, not because I've done something to deserve to die. Not that I think that's a thing, but like, is today going to be my last? And I don't fucking know.
That's horrible. I can't even imagine what you must go through, like just to exist, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's because we've come so far, but at the same time we just haven't come far enough, you know?
I was like, we still have so much farther to go. Basically, like, so
Yeah.
much more work to do. And I'm honestly hoping that like the international attention that George Floyd's death has gotten, and then just like the outrage that we get from finding out about all of these past police brutality murders against Black folks, like Ray Elijah, that we didn't know about at the time, but we're finding out about now. I'm just hoping that this is like opening the door so that way we can start to do work. If not like on a government level, then at least like on a human level outside of the government,
Yeah.
if that's
Like
a possibility.
it's
But go ahead.
just a total mess. Like, because the thing is, since it keeps happening, and it's basically happening, I mean, every day in the US, if you like take into the consideration like all of the stories that we don't hear, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like I think that part of the problem is that like if it's not happening where you live, it's not real. And it's just racism is so stupid.
Honestly, but that's not even like a concept that only applies to racism. Like, let's think about COVID-19,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people here in the States, especially down here in the South where I'm at, like, they're like, oh, I don't know anyone that's died from COVID. Oh, I don't know anyone that's gotten COVID. So I'm not going to wear a mask, or I'm just not going to care. I'm not going to take precautions. Like, just because it doesn't happen to you and you don't see it doesn't mean it's not real. Like, that's the stupidest mentality you could have as a human being.
Yeah, it's like just because it's cold where you are doesn't mean that climate change isn't happening.
Oh, there. That's another issue that people do that
Metaphor.
with. Love it.
It's just.
Oh man.
So, how are things with you?
They are happening. Oh my goodness, they're happening.
Yeah. How's you're in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's
Yes.
COVID over there since you brought it up?
Don't judge me, right? But I don't watch the news, so I don't know really what's going on I guess a state level, but on a local level, I like get the newspaper because I'm a nerd. But like the cases have gone down, like locally, like county wide in my small county, but like cases have increased in nursing homes. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. I don't visit nursing homes, so well, that doesn't mean it's not gonna happen to me, right? Like someone who works in a nursing home can come. Like that's goofy. But yeah, and everywhere we go now, we have to wear masks. Masks. They like require it in stores. They require it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least there's like some measures that like they're doing, that like you have to wear a mask or you have to like social distance. I mean, like the president of Brazil, like I couldn't have picked a worse place to quarantine because like
Yikes.
I mean, the president of Brazil literally said that wearing masks is gay. Like,
What?
no joke. He literally said that. Like, he has coronavirus, and like whenever like people go into his office to like talk with him, or he makes fun of people for wearing masks.
Wow.
And like he would just go into crowds and like kiss babies and like hug small children. And he would
Wow.
like recently, as Brazil hit like, I think it was, now we're well past 100,000 deaths, but when we had like I think 60 or 80,000 deaths, he went jet skiing. It's insane.
That makes me wonder, like, has he always been like an
He's
insensitive?
always been horrible.
Okay. Then it's not new. It's not new.
Yeah, like he like basically he's known as like the Brazilian Trump, but that's actually being way too generous because he's actually considerably worse than Trump. Yeah,
Whoa.
he's much worse. Like he makes Trump look moderate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, and like, do you vote? Do you vote for your presidents?
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, um I couldn't vote in the last election where he won because I was in the US. Um but yeah, we actually have mandatory voting. Like
good.
I mean, not really, because like even though I do think that I mean, if you look at voter turnout in the US, it's abysmal, right?
Mm,
But
mm-hmm.
I think that people who talk about mandatory voting and they say it's like this great solution that'll increase voter turnout and all that, they've diagnosed the problem correctly, but they're not really offering a good solution. Because basically how it works in Brazil is you have to show up to vote, and you have the option of basically casting a blank ballot where you're like, I don't like either of these candidates, but you have to show up. And if you don't show up, for I think it's 3 consecutive elections, and you don't fill out a justification form as to why you didn't show up, because they allow you to not show up if you're sick or you're out of town, but you need to fill out this form to prove that you couldn't vote. And if you don't vote and you don't provide a justification for 3 consecutive elections, they take away your passport, they take away your social security card,
Oh.
they take away the little card that allows you to pay taxes. And so since you can't pay taxes, you go to prison for tax evasion. That's how they get
So,
you.
wow. Can you get it back?
I
Is that a
mean, like I I haven't heard of anyone getting it back, but I think it's possible. I have a friend who lives in the UK, and he's Brazilian, but he lives in the UK, and he didn't bother to fill out justifications for why he didn't vote, and they took
Mhm.
away his social security card.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's insane. So
That's wild.
since I honestly get why mandatory voting is so appealing, and honestly I I think it could work if it's implemented correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never implemented correctly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, what about all the human mistakes? Like, what if someone sent in their justification card but got lost on the way, like, and
Yeah,
they're
and I mean
screwed?
the Brazilian post office is it's really dysfunctional.
Oh
Like um Trump could only dream of making the USPS as bad as it is in Brazil.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's awful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? Like, how is that happening? Like,
I don't know. The Brazilian elections were really unique because we had this guy who was basically dangerously unhinged, who was running for president, who's Bolsonaro, the current president. And the guy who was running against him was his name was Fernando Haddad, and he was sort of like center left, but that wasn't really the problem. The problem was that his party, the Workers' Party, has been like really, really tainted by corruption scandals in the past like 12 years that they've been in power. Like, for example, there was this Brazilian president called Lula, right? Lula da Silva. And as soon as he took office, he was involved in this vote buying scheme where members of his cabinet would bribe members of Congress to vote the way that he wanted them to.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there was like his chief of staff went to jail after that. There was Operation Car Wash, which was literally like, it was the biggest corruption scandal in the history of the world.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. So like people, even people who don't like Bolsonaro, they were like, I mean, if the alternative is more of this, like they sort of just bit the bullet and voted for him. And I'm not judging them. I'm not like saying that the Workers' Party isn't bad, but I mean, we got this absolute fucking nut job in there. And like literally he like the first moment where he really rose to prominence was when he told a female critic of his that she wasn't worthy of being raped.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's insane.
Like, who thinks that's okay to say?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like,
yeah,
who?
like she accused him of being a rapist, and he said, well, I'm not a rapist, but if I was, I wouldn't rape you because you don't deserve it.
No one does. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And there was this insane poll that came out recently in Brazil that it was like, I think it was 34 or 35% of Brazilians believe that women who wear revealing clothing deserve to be raped. Yeah. Brazil's still living in the dark ages, essentially.
Goodness gracious. Y'all need an awakening. Y'all need something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, there was this story recently that there was this 10-year-old girl that got pregnant because she was essentially being raped by her uncle for years, like I think since she was 6. And she applied through the justice system to get an abortion because in Brazil, you can only get an abortion if you like go through the justice system and like fill out like a ton of forms and like wait until there's a ruling back. And like by the time the ruling comes back, she'll already have had the kid.
Had the baby. Wow.
And when she applied for it through the justice system, a lot of Bolsonaro's allies in Congress and in the media started calling her a murderer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Oh my goodness. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what did she, is she still going through it? Is she okay?
Yeah,
like
she's
what
going
happened?
through it.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a total catastrophe.
I'm speechless. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure. I'm not even sure what to say to that. What happened to the uncle? Did they do anything about him and his mess ups and his
I mean,
disgustingness?
I haven't heard anything yet. I mean, like 90, I think it's 98% of crimes in Brazil never go solved. So,
My goodness.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness. What?
Why aren't we talking about this all the
What?
time, right?
Yeah, yes. Yes, and I mean, I wish I could come back and say like what the crime solve rate for the U.S. is, but I don't know. And I honestly don't even know if it would be accurate. Like, let's be honest. Let's
Hmm.
be honest. I don't think
Yeah.
it would be. And that just it just makes me wonder, like, what what's going on? You know, like what don't we
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, other than that nonsense, what's going on with you? How is COVID? Let's go back to COVID because
Oh man.
going for you.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'm basically quarantining. Like I haven't left the house in months essentially. But like here, like nobody is quarantining, nobody's social distancing. Like the beaches were like completely packed a few days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a mess.
And of course, like your president isn't, or your government isn't like enforcing anything, so no one has
Yeah,
to do it
yeah,
unless they want to. Wow.
yeah. I mean the like we don't even have a health minister right now.
What happened? What happened?
Like it's actually a funny story, if by funny you mean incredibly depressing. um
Yikes.
like we had this health minister that he was basically like following the science.
As
And
he should.
yeah, and he was talking about how like quarantines are necessary and we should all like wear masks and socially distance, and Bolsonaro fired him because he was contradicting him on quarantine. And then um, he replaced him with this other health minister, and he resigned after less than a month on the job because like Bolsonaro was asking him to push hydroxychloroquine, and he was like, I'm not going to do that. That's um like it hasn't been proven yet. And he just kept having to like sort of deal with Bolsonaro over and over and over again. And
Mm,
you could see in press conferences that he was sort of exhausted by it. And
mm.
so he resigned after less than a month. And now our interim health minister is a military guy. No medical experience. He was just in the military.
Oh, oh, what? And I'm guessing he goes along with whatever
I mean,
both
he's not really
scenario.
doing anything.
Oh, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So now basically Brazil and COVID, like it's basically working like those porn sites where you have to enter your own age. Like they're just policing themselves.
I'm so weak.
It's
Mhm.
horrible.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. I wonder like what is it going to be like in a few years,
Yeah.
once because COVID's gonna stay, obviously, but hopefully we find a way to like combat it or whatever. So like I'm wondering like what's gonna happen to Brazil? What's gonna happen to the U.S.?
Yeah.
What happens now?
Yeah, like I've heard a lot of like there's this saying that a lot of my American friends say about Brazil, that Brazil is the country of the future and always will be,
Huh.
because like for basically decades, like people have been saying that the next global superpowers are going to be Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And there was this the Economist magazine cover that had the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio, like taking off like a rocket.
Huh.
And like we're being told that Brazil is going to be like this global superpower, and it's just not.
Interesting. Like, when was this recent? Like, they said this recently, or?
I mean, it was like maybe like 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, so it's completely different,
Mm-hmm.
like dynamics. And
Yeah,
okay, damn.
yeah.
Back then, do you remember back then? Like, do you agree with what they said back
I
then?
mean, like I was skeptical, but I mean, I'm a perpetual optimist, so yeah. But like that, here's what I'm really worried about. Like, what if Trump gets reelected? How much longer are we going to have to deal with COVID?
Forever.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
like at least until the midterms. Let's be
Oh my
real.
god. Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that like Biden is this like fantastic candidate who's gonna like go in there and like fundamentally change everything, and like in like 3 months we're gonna have Medicare for all. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
it's like it's not gonna happen. But
Would be
like at the
nice.
same time, it's just I just want this nightmare to be over, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm gonna vote for Biden or vote third party, because like I'm registered in New York, so my vote really doesn't matter. Like I was like 98% sure that I wasn't gonna vote for Biden and that I was gonna vote for the Green Party. And then um he invoked the Insurrection Act, and then I was like, oh, I might have to vote for Biden now. Shit.
What's the Insurrection Act?
The Insurrection Act is basically like it's a law that allows the president to deploy the U.S. military on U.S. soil, and um, it was originally meant to stop slave rebellions in like the 19th century or so.
Mm-hmm.
So like he invoked a law that was originally meant to stop slave rebellions to silence freedom of speech. He said, oh, like the Insurrection Act is this thing that exists, so I can do this. And obviously it's unconstitutional. Any objective Supreme Court would rule that that's unconstitutional, but we got like baby Scalia, and we've got prep school Brett Kavanaugh.
I'm so weak.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Trump has destroyed the justice system.
Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah.
I just hope that like we can get it back. Or not even get it back. Let's just fucking change the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
it's time. It's time. It's been time
Yeah.
to just change. the way that each and every system works, because each and every system is rooted in fucking injustice and racism. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's like basically the thing that a lot of Republicans and conservatives say, that like, oh, racism doesn't exist in America. Like, not only does racism still exist in America, like, I don't think there's a single country in the world where racism doesn't exist, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, people saying, oh, we elected our first black president, like, all the problems of racism are solved, and Martin Luther King's dream came true. No, it didn't.
No.
I
In
mean,
fact, it's what brought about the Trump presidency, right? Like, we can't have Trump without having Barack Obama. Like, people were so against having a black president, so against having someone black in power, that this is what we get instead. We get Trump. And it's just like mind-blowing. And I'm not saying Barack was the best president because he was black, but it's just like, this is what we get. We still have to deal with our American history of racism, of slavery. Like, we still have to fucking deal with it.
yeah.
And until we do.
And like, it's really interesting because like, that's actually a really good point about like Obama sort of ushering in and like kind of motivating all these racists to nominate Trump and elect Trump. Like, do you think that if Obama had gotten in and like actually like fundamentally like changed stuff and like gotten like really, really progressive policies and like actually gotten out of the wars and like gotten single payer and gotten legal weed and gotten criminal justice reform, do you think that the result would have been different? The election result would have been different?
For sure. Like, I do think so. Because I definitely think like the racists would have come out. I definitely think that Trump still would have had all of the support that he had, but I also think that like the policies being changed, if they got enough support from everyone else, then like things could have been different. Yeah, I think things could have been different. But that's so much weight to put on his shoulders, because
yeah. I mean, I just like, he had, there was so much enthusiasm and like the expectations were so high that like there's no way that he could have possibly met all of the expectations, even if he was like this progressive leader that we both wanted him to be. Let's be real.
Yes. I would have loved nothing more for him to legalize weed, nothing more for him to take out criminal, like to like retract black people, basically. I mean, let's be honest, who were arrested for having weed or like weed related. Like, I would want nothing more than that. Nothing more for him to do healthcare for, like, oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, good morning. I want to make a quick amendment to like one of the questions we had yesterday. I was thinking about it this last night, and then like it didn't sit right with me. So when your question was like, if President Obama was progressive and had passed all of the laws and etc., like, do I still think that Donald Trump would have happened? And the answer, as much as I hate to fucking admit it, is yes. Like, even if Obama was progressive, and even if Obama did kind of undo a lot of the unjust laws that already exist and like implement laws that are humane, and you know, that exist to help others instead of hurt others, like even if he did do that, I still think that the Trump presidency would have occurred. I think like more people would be outraged and it wouldn't have got as much support as it has now, but I do believe that it still would have occurred. And the only reason I say this is because like it's going to take more than one term. It's going to take more than 2 terms. It's going to take more than one president, one progressive president, pushing for laws that fit humans, to change the system, right? It's going to take more than one president with 2 terms to change the foundation that America is built on. And that's what we need to change. We need to change the foundation. If the foundation doesn't change, nothing changes. And so I think, like, even if Obama was progressive, like I said, and had passed a lot of social criminal justice reforms and even social justice reforms, like, if that did happen, I still think that Trump would have, because you like, there's no Donald Trump without the Barack Obama presidency. That's what it is. Like, Barack Obama was the president, like the before, the antecedent, and then Trump is the consequence. And I think that's definitely what it's going to be like, right? Because opposites, you can't have one without the other. You can't have bad without good. Otherwise, they'd just be their own thing. So it's like, I do still believe that Trump would have been elected, but I also think that if Obama did pass those progressive laws, that Trump wouldn't be able to get away with everything that he's getting away with now, right? Like, there would be some seed in Congress, some seed in the White House, some seed there that would prevent all the atrocities that's occurring right now, right? Would put a limit, would cap him. But right now he's limitless, but yeah.
So we talked about the present, we talked about the past. Now let's talk about the future. Joe fucking Biden. Like, I'll be honest, like, the most compelling argument for Joe Biden that I can think of is, like, the argument that Ben Dixon brings up a lot. Like, Ben Dixon, he's this progressive talk show host. That he talks about this a lot, that we're really electing not the person that we would rather have as president, but we're choosing the person that we'd rather fight, you know? Like, because if Trump wins again, we don't even get a seat at the table, you know? Like, he's not even gonna listen to us.
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
yeah.
If we like come up to Trump in the Oval Office and say, like, oh, please, Medicare for all, or free college, he's gonna say, no, screw you. But, like, with Biden, he is movable. Like, he's not as movable as I'd like him to be.
Yeah.
Like today, he just said that he doesn't want to ban fracking under any circumstances.
I mean, honestly, that's disgusting, but I'm not surprised because we know who runs the country. We know who puts money in his pockets. Of course, he's gonna fucking say that shit. But
yeah, and exactly, like that actually brings me to another point, that with Biden, like, the left is awake now. We know exactly what kind of president he's going to be. Where, like, I think that Obama sort of lulled us into a false sense of security, where, like, he was like, oh, I'm going to be really progressive. And he got elected, and he wasn't the progressive that we wanted him to be. And we kind of went to sleep. But I don't think the left is going to go to sleep if Biden wins. I think we're in for the fight of a lifetime.
yeah, we have to be. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You can't go back to sleep once you're awake. Like, we have to fight.
Yeah, and, like, if I mean, not if, when there's another incident like Jacob Blake, if/when Biden is president, we got to put pressure on him. because like this isn't going to stop until we get like real substantive reform. And like actually I'm going to pull up the campaign zero reforms here real quick, because I mean they could say it a lot better than I could. The reforms are end broken windows policing, end profiling and stop and frisk, establish alternative approaches to mental health crises, community oversight of police, which is establish effective civilian oversight structures, remove barriers to reporting police misconduct, limit use of force, independently investigate and prosecute cops, community representation in the police, body cams on all cops, training and for-profit policing, demilitarization, fair police union contracts, and yeah, that's it.
Those are good. Whose are they? Like, who's that from?
Campaign Zero. They're this organization that works for criminal justice reform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And those, like, how does that work? That just goes to whoever is the president, or like?
I mean, like, let's be honest. No matter who the president is, they're not going to implement these things willingly. So, like, I think that we need this like more organized leftist movement to sort of push whoever the president is, whether it's Trump or Biden or, God forbid, Cuomo in 4 years.
Ooh.
Like we,
we're not there yet.
like we need to sort of push whoever the president is to do the right thing, you know?
That's all we can do. I think that's our job as citizens, as living sentient human beings on this earth, is to fucking do our best.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, what's your best? But I mean, obviously, the best for human life. I think.
Like, I'm curious though, like, what would be like your ideal system for like, what would be the ideal reforms for you for criminal justice?
Ooh, ideal would be no militarization. Like, no. Yeah, that's like no militarization of the police. It would be like anytime like violence is used, it would be illegal. But of course that assumes that there would be no violence from the citizens. But even if there is violence from the citizens, I don't think it needs to be met with violence. I feel like there's another way. I can't think of what it is, but I feel like there is another way to solve those problems or fix those issues. But definitely, and no police. Like, what the fuck? We don't. I don't think we need police.
I mean,
I think there are other systems.
I mean, because like that's interesting, because like that's obviously like the main thing with defunding the police. But like, I mean, you need police for some things, right? Like like, I'm just thinking like violent crime. You can't send like a social worker in there to like solve a murder.
That's true. But that's what like investigators are for or something, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm right, you don't have to agree with me. I was just saying, right, like, but like that's what an investigator is for. Like, if it's a murder and they don't know who did it, then boom. If it's like a murder happening, I guess, like, who would you call? Or I guess like a robbery. Maybe they could be like security guards. Maybe they don't
Mhm.
need to be police. Maybe it could be something completely different. Yeah. And I guess that when there's a difference between militarization and violence.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. Then it doesn't have to be militarized, but it can still use force if
Yeah,
necessary.
like I mean, the police don't need tanks. Let's be real.
Okay. What? It's not Grand Theft Auto. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Nice reference, by the way.
Thank you.
Go back in time to like 2015 for that.
Actually, it was 2012, but whatever. No, yeah.
Excuse me.
I am so weak. But they don't need to, like, and I really like the idea. I saw this meme picture or whatever, and it was
Mhm.
like breaking the police, like what the police does into different uh, jobs,
Mhm.
so that way it's more efficient and effective. And I like that because I didn't think about it, but it's true. Like, you call 911 and boom, that goes to a call center, and then it goes anywhere else. So I could just need like CPR, but instead they send like a police officer, and it's like, no, I just need an EMS.
Mhm.
Like it could be more effective and more efficient if there were different groups that took care of specific situations, I think. And
Yeah.
that would be, I guess, a part of my reform. Yeah. Shit.
You should be president.
Okay. No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be old enough. Okay, maybe. But I wouldn't want to be president. I think that's like, I keep this part of Hamilton keeps going in my head. Like, you can't put a fire out when you're inside of the house or something.
Love it.
If there's a fire you're
Love
trying
it.
to douse, you can't. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can't put it
Yeah.
out from the side of the house. And it's like,
I'm a
which,
musical theater kid, so
yes, I'm getting there. I'm like half. I'm on the fence, but Hamilton's amazing. So
Hamilton's great.
okay, yes. And it's I don't think the problem is that system. So I don't think that becoming a part of that problem will like becoming a part of the system will fix the problem.
Yeah,
Like
but
we
like don't you think that like also like obviously like activism is like really really important to put pressure for um on the people in power, but don't you also think that like it's important to have like someone in power who like already agrees with us and like is more willing to implement um the priorities that we need in order to create a better society?
yes. I feel like I just like you just sprung a trap or something. But yeah.
No, it's genuinely not a trap. I like,
Yeah, I think it would be more helpful without a doubt. It would be, I mean, it would be tremendously helpful.
I mean,
Tremendously helpful.
like, I get that, like, the likelihood of that happening isn't very high, but I mean, it would be great, ideal world, right?
Right, but now you got me thinking like, why isn't that possible?
That's actually interesting because, like, I think that part of the reason why it's so hard to get reform is because you genuinely need like an inside strategy and an outside strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if there's just like a really progressive president who supports everything we want him to, he's gonna run into a brick wall that is like just everyone around him being corrupt, you know?
Mm-hmm. Congress.
So, yeah. So, like, we need pressure from the outside too. And, like, a lot of activists talk about this all the time. Like, that's the whole point of Justice Democrats, which is the group that got AOC and Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush elected.
I don't know who those people are, but I'm guessing they're good. I'm
AOC?
guessing they're
You don't know AOC?
no.
Oh, my friend, you are missing out.
Okay, wait. Let me do a quick Google search.
Yeah. Look her up. She's awesome.
Just AOC, just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I've seen her.
She's
Okay.
great. She's awesome.
Yes. She was the first. She was the first something. Or no?
She was the youngest woman ever elected to Congress.
That's what it was. Oh my goodness. Okay, amazing. Oh, she's 29.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm feeling a little hopeful.
Yeah.
Who got her? Sorry.
It's this group called Justice Democrats.
Justice Democrats.
They were it was started by two former staffers for Bernie's 2016 campaign. And I think it was two progressive media hosts.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just like, okay, well, let's just like start this group, and they got AOC elected.
Wow, and now she's out here changing the whole world. Okay,
Yeah.
that's hopeful.
Yeah.
That's hopeful.
It's nice to end on an optimistic note, right?
Yes, it is. Okay. Because that means you just you just keep it going. Like,
yeah,
come with this
exactly.
shit.